I once walked into a sales call with no testimonials, no portfolio, and not a single case study to my name. The woman I was meeting with was a real estate agent, and not the soft, easygoing kind. She was super old school, a shrewd businesswoman with a no BS attitude, the kind of woman who hates being pitched and is not afraid to let you know exactly why she's not impressed. About 10 minutes in, she looked right at me and asked the one question that every new AI builder is terrified of. Do you have any proof that this actually works? And here's the thing, I didn't. I had never delivered this exact lead gen system to a paying client, but I still closed her at $6,000 for the build, plus a $1,000 a month retainer. In this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact 4-step process that made that possible, even with zero proof, so you can do the same thing before your next call. All right, let's dive in. So before I show you the process, we need to fix the one mistake that makes this thing so hard in the first place. Here's what almost everyone does when they have no testimonials. They lower their price. You figure I've got no proof, so I'll just charge $500 for this lead gen system that's honestly worth 10 times that in value. It feels safer, and in your head, it makes sense. Get the client, get the testimonial, and raise your prices later. But as soon as you do that, the decision starts working against you. Because in the B2B world, a $500 AI system does not feel like a safe bet. It feels like a red flag. The owner sits there wondering why on earth it's that cheap. Like, what's wrong with it? And honestly, with my real estate agent, that would have been the fastest way to get the proverbial door slammed in my face. If I had underpriced, she would have assumed that I had no idea what I was doing. She respected money. She also respected people who knew their numbers. A bargain price would have told her everything that she needed to know. And I promise you that she would have let me know. Plus, once you start treating your own AI work like it's low value, that bleeds into everything. It shows up in your voice, your confidence, how you carry yourself on the call. You start making concessions before anyone even pushes back. So instead of making your price look smaller, you have to make the value look bigger. And I don't mean just artificially inflating the value. I mean making it the star of the show. And it starts with the first tool. Here's why we get so obsessed with testimonials in the first place. We think that the client needs proof that our AI system works. But when they're actually on the call, that's usually not what's running through their head. What they really want to know is what that problem is costing them right now, today, every single month. And when you walk in already knowing that number, the whole call feels different. Let me show you what that looked like with my real estate agent. She was spending real money on leads, Zillow, Facebook ads, her sphere, open houses. She was pulling in somewhere between 80 and 100 leads per month, so that part was working. The problem was speed. She was a one-woman show, constantly out showing homes, sitting in closings and appointments. So those leads would come in and they would just sit there, sometimes for hours, or sometimes she would never get back to them at all. And in real estate, that is a catastrophe because speed to lead is everything. If you respond to a new lead in under 5 minutes, your odds of actually connecting to them and converting go through the roof. Wait an hour, and most of those people have already filled out a form on the next agent's site and booked a showing with someone else. A lead in real estate has a shelf life in minutes, and she was answering in hours. Now here's the part that most builders skip. I didn't just pull a scary number out of the air, because a number that you can't defend falls apart the moment that a sharp buyer pushes back on it. And believe me, she was going to push. So I built the number from the bottom up. I took her lead volume, call it 90 a month. I assumed only a portion of those were actual real buyers and sellers ready to move, which is normal. Then I looked at what the industry says about response time, that the vast majority of leads are never contacted fast enough, and that the agent who responds first wins most of the time. From there, it was conservative to say that she was losing at least one closing a month that she could have saved with instant follow-up. Probably more, but I wanted a number that would hold up even if she argued me down. Then I priced what one lost deal was actually worth to her. After the broker split, each closing was about $7,000 to $9,000 directly in her bank account. So one missed deal a month is about $7,000 just walking out the door every month, and that's on the low end. So I got on the call and said this: based on the lead volume you're describing and how fast the competitors in your market respond, you're very likely losing one closing per month due to slow follow-up. So that's somewhere around $7,000 per month every single month. The system that I build texts every new lead back within seconds, day or night, keeps the conversation going with AI until they're ready, and then books the appointment straight onto your calendar. The build is $6,000 and it's $1,000 a month to run it. And in that moment, her mind did not go to how long I had been doing this. She was looking at $6,000 and $1,000 a month versus the $7,000 that she was actively losing every single month. Then I anchored it one more way, because this is something that really resonates with someone who really watches their money. I reminded her that she was already paying for those leads. Every one of those 90 leads cost her ad dollars on the way in. So the leak wasn't just the lost commission, it was the money that she had already spent on generating those leads that were now just being allowed to rot. My system didn't ask her to spend more on lead gen. It just stopped her from wasting what she was already spending. And none of that required a testimonial. I just had to understand what the problem was already costing her. Build a number I could actually defend, say it out loud before she did. So instead of defending your lack of proof, find the bottleneck, put a real number on it that survives scrutiny, and let your AI system sit right next to that number. And if you're working a 9-to-5 right now and building this on your nights and weekends, this matters even more. You don't have time to have half-assed conversations that go nowhere. That one number gives the entire call a direction. And the way you find that number is before the call even starts. So before the call, your entire job is to find out where that money is leaking from. Start with their current setup. Are they working with a team or running solo? Do they have somebody answering the phone, or is it all them? Are they handling appointments and follow-ups by hand? You can find most of this out without even actually talking to them. Their website, their Google reviews, a quick LinkedIn search. With my agent, it took about all of 10 minutes to find out that she was a solo operator with no real systems behind her. No assistant, no follow-up tool, just her and her phone. Like I said, she was old school. That told me exactly where the leak was going to be before we even spoke. You're hunting for the spots in the business where people get stuck, wait too long, or fall through the cracks. Then you look at their volume and their size. How many clients, leads, appointments, or transactions are they handling every week? You need this so that the numbers from the first tool actually match their business, instead of sounding like some generic stat that you just got from ChatGPT. The difference between you're probably losing money and you're losing about $7,000 a month is whether you did this step. And then look for public complaints. Go through their Google reviews with a fine-tooth comb. Don't just glance at the star rating, read the actual words. Look for people mentioning slow replies, trouble booking, never hearing back, or having to chase someone down. With my agent, I found exactly that. Buried under a bunch of 5-star reviews was one where somebody said that they loved working with her, but mentioned, almost in passing, that it had taken a few days to even get an initial response. That single line was like hitting the jackpot, because it wasn't me saying that she had a follow-up problem, it was her own happy client saying it. If people are openly complaining about the exact thing that you can automate, you have just struck gold. Take a screenshot of it, bring it up on the call, because when you walk in knowing exactly where they're already bleeding leads, time, or money, the call starts on completely different footing. You can open with something like, I was going through your reviews and I noticed someone mentioned that it took them a few days to hear back when they had first reached out. Is that still something that you're running into when you're busy? And now the owner is sitting there like, wait, this person actually understands what's going on inside my business. That alone separates you from every other AI service provider who approaches them and then just immediately starts pitching features and tech that they don't care about. But even when you nail all of this, there's still that one question that leaves brand new builders frozen in fear. Do you have any case studies? This is the moment, and most people handle it badly. Some start apologizing way too much. Some try to dress up some random thing that they built and then pass it off as proof, which the client can see right through. And some just freeze and lose all of their momentum. Here's a calmer way to answer. This is close to exactly what I said to my agent the moment that she pushed me. Not yet at this exact scale. And I'd rather be direct with you than show you something that doesn't match your exact situation. What I do have is a clear process for solving this exact problem. I've already mapped out where your biggest leaks are before this call, and I structure every project with a guarantee. So you're not the one taking the risk here, I am. And then you go right back into the leaks that you found and how your system fixes those leaks. That's the key. You acknowledge it honestly, and then you immediately steer it back to their business and their numbers. Because here's what I've learned. Most business owners don't expect an AI service provider to walk into a call already understanding how their business loses money. That by itself will feel different than any other sales call that they've ever sat through. And with my agent, the honesty is actually what landed. She was a human BS detector. If I had tried to fake proof or stretch some unrelated project into a case study, she would have caught it and the trust would have been gone. But by telling her the truth and then immediately showing her that I had already done the homework on her business, that earned the kind of respect that a fake case study never could have. The honesty wasn't a weakness that I was managing around. With a buyer like her, it was the strongest card that I had. And this is where the guarantee really starts to matter, because it takes the risk off of her shoulders entirely. Now, a lot of guarantees accidentally make the prospect think about failure. If it doesn't work, I'll give you a full refund. Even when you make that reassurance, it can backfire because now they're picturing the whole thing not working. You just planted that image in their head. So I'd rather bring up the guarantee before they even ask. That way it lands like you're standing behind the result, not covering over your own doubt. Here's the kind of thing you can say. I build the system and I'm accountable for the result. If the numbers I projected aren't starting to move in the first 30 days, I keep working at no extra cost until they do. You're not paying me to build something, you're paying me for the outcome. And notice what that does. It defines what success even looks like on your terms up front. For my agent, the numbers moving meant leads getting a response in seconds instead of days, and appointments showing up on her calendar without her involvement. So instead of some vague promise to make her happy, we both knew exactly what we were measuring. And that protects you as much as it protects them, because a guarantee tied to a clear result is one that you can actually deliver on. And when they hear that early, they stop needing you to prove yourself so badly, because now you're both looking at the same thing, the numbers you projected, and you've put yourself on the same side of the table as them. And this is exactly why my agent said yes. It was never really about whether I had done it before. It was about who was carrying the risk. And once I made it clear that I was, the price was a no-brainer instead of feeling like a gamble. And that's exactly what I want you to take into your next sales call. Don't just sit around scripting out what you're going to say. Run the monthly loss number for your prospect's exact situation. Do the research, read their reviews, walk in already knowing where they're losing time, calls, or money before they ever even tell you. Because that one shift, leading with their leak instead of your lack of proof, completely changes how they judge you on that call. And it's the reason that I closed a shrewd, no-nonsense real estate agent at $6,000 plus $1,000 a month retainer with 0 case studies to my name. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.